Hello friends, it's Carla here today with my first Halloween series. This is day 1, and for every Tuesday and Thursday leading up to Halloween, we have 13 fun projects to celebrate Halloween. So for this project, I thought I would make a cute little center picture window card using the Spooky Village and the Fawn center picture window die set. So I'm just using some Copic markers, and I'm not going to show you everything. Some of the images are really tiny, like the little cute little kids that are trick-or-treating and the trees and the pumpkins, so they don't need a lot of blending, but I did show you some of the markers that I use for combinations. I think 2 color combinations are nice and easy to do, especially if you're starting out Copic coloring and you don't have a lot of markers. You can really get some shading and some blending, and when you're doing small images as well, you don't need a whole lot of blending. And by no means am I a professional Copic colorer, and I just kind of go with what I feel looks right and how the colors blend and that my eye sees a shadow, and then I'm happy with that. So these houses from the Spooky Village from Fawn are a new release for 2019. They are super, super cute, and I love making cards and projects for Halloween. I find that with Canadian Thanksgiving being mid-October, often I start out by wanting to do some Halloween projects, and then I get sidetracked by Thanksgiving, and then I feel like I really want to focus on Christmas. So sometimes I miss out on doing as many Halloween projects as I like. So I just wanted this year to do a little series, and it won't always be a card. Sometimes I have a die cut project, and I just thought I'd do a bunch of Halloween stuff. It might be decor, and so I would love for you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday leading up to Halloween. You can set the subscribe notifications by hitting the bell, and then you will get the notification when I post. And it's really just to have some fun with some Halloween projects. So today we're looking at some coloring and how to put this really fun center picture window die together. It is a really great die card. It creates a smaller card, and it's really fun to embellish and have a lot of fun adding details. You can add as many or as little as you like. And I wanted to add lots to this one, so you'll see how I put it all together, and it really is an easy die to use. So I'll just let you have a look at the rest of the coloring, and then I'll be back to put it all together. So here's all the little images. I cut them out with scissors because I didn't have the die set that coordinates, but that is available. And here's a look at the center picture window die and all the accessories that are with that, and the add-on as well. I just took a magnet sheet, and I have it in a plastic, I believe it's an Avery envelope that I store it in. So I'm running it through. Now the main card piece is this little rectangle, and you can see you end up with a little score line in the center. Then you have this piece here that I'm cutting next, and that gives you your center part. It's another rectangle with some edges cut on it and a score line. You take your oval, which is going to be your center picture window, and you line that middle part of the oval up with the score line, so you have that directly in the center. We've got some of the new fall paper from Fawn, and I'm using the little stitched rectangle, and that will go inside this card as well. Got my little green pieces that my inside are going to sit on, and I'm grabbing my distress ink, and here Erica decided to say hi. Now with the distress inks, I'm going to do front background, and I love the way that it looks when you blend the distress oxide inks, and then you've got some sparkle and some splatters on there. And I thought for Halloween the colors really match the colors that I use to color in the images, and so I'm just using some blending brushes and going over some Bristol smooth cardstock and just blending those colors in. You can see it looks a bit like a hot mess here, and that's okay, because once we get the splatters on and we cut out the area that we want cut out, and we've got some shine on there and all of our pieces layered on, it really looks cool in the background. So Erica decides to help me here as well, and this is something your kids can do, they can have fun with. I just took a wipe and wiped off the brushes in between the colors, and they seem to wipe off really well. So all the colors are just on there. It's, they're not blended into each other too much. We've got some shimmers, and this is some bling. I'm not sure whether this is something that's sold anymore. It was starting to dry a little bit, so I added it to some water, and I just grabbed my paintbrush and did some splatters. So you've got some silver splatters on the background, and here you can see it's starting to look cool. And as soon as you pick that up with the napkin, the leftover water and splatters, it creates such a neat background. So I was really happy with how this turned out. Then I was able to just cut out my piece that I wanted for the background with the stitched rectangle that fits right on the front of that card. And then I've got a sheet of border dies. This one here is from Your Next Stamp, and I thought I'd cut out some grassy areas that would match the little pieces that are going to be inside the card. And I used the little stitched area to match the front of the card, and that way you've got those stitching lines going all the way around. So I've cut a couple little hills here, and I'm just creating a little scene with all these houses and the trees and the grass, and it's going to look like a little Halloween trick-or-treating scene, which I really love how it turned out. So I'm just using some tacky glue here, gluing the pieces down and kind of setting them where I want them to be, seeing how they look. I've got some foam tape behind these trick-or-treaters. These trick-or-treaters are so cute, and the trees are very neat. So I'm using the little trick-or-treat stamp that comes with the Spooky Village, and I'm stamping directly on the front of this card. And then I'm layering on the little accessories and trees and trick-or-treaters all around. The little ghosts are adorable, and we've got a cloud and the moon, and then I've got a jelly roll pen. This is the number 10 size, and I'm just adding some little highlighted areas with the gel pen. I love the way this looks. Even a few dots and lines just makes such a difference. So here's a look at all that together, and then I'm just adding it to the rest of my images so that when I go to use them, the highlights will all be on there. Now to put this card together is super easy. So you're just folding in the score lines that the dies create. This is going to be our little window, and we're going to add some thin sequin tape. You can add some score tape, and just on those little fold lines. I also go ahead and add a little bit of glue because I don't want anything to come apart, and I probably over glue things, but I like the way that the score tape adheres quickly, and then I know that the tacky glue is going to hold it forever. So here I'm lining up the center score of the picture window and the card and folding in that edge. I'm folding in all the edges of these little step pieces that are going to be inside, and these pieces are going to allow you to create a staggered scene inside the card, which also folds shut. It's really such a brilliant design. So you just again line up the center score lines and press down so that the right side of those pieces are going to be adhered in the correct spot. And after we get the right side attached, we're going to fold everything over. So fold it in half at the score line, fold them over, and then shut the front of the card, and it's going to adhere to the correct spot. So when we open them, everything is going to open and close properly, and we're going to be all set to do our decorating. These little rectangles are just the perfect size to add inside, and I'm using that Lawn Fawn paper again, and then I'm just adding my images on. So what I try to do is I add them on, and then I close the card just to make sure that I've put them in the correct spot so the card can still close. So as long as the card is closing, it's okay if it's sticking over a few places, and your card is still going to open and close properly. So I'm just adding in the details, and I'm doing a little bit of star stamping. I could have done this before I attached everything, but I hadn't thought of it. And then adding a little bit of gold pen detail to those stars so you can see the shimmer in the light, and adding in a little bit of silver gel pen to some other areas, to the little ghost eyes and the spider web. I found a pair of tweezers was helpful to get things into the spots that were a little tricky. Then I had a house left over that I wanted to use, and I thought I'll put it on the back, and I'm using the Happy Halloween stamp, and because it won't fit completely across, I'm just staggering it. So inking up the Happy and then the Halloween and cleaning it really well in between so no ink gets on the other spots that I don't want it, and adding some stamping and then gluing on the little ghost and the house to the back, and I have a little spot to write a little note. And this is a Wink of Stella pen that I actually refilled with some Tattered Angels chalk mist that has it's a clear mist with a sparkle, so you could add any kind of clear mist in a in a pen that had a water brush end to it and get that same effect, or use the Wink of Stella. So here's a look at the inside and all the pieces to this fun little card. It was so fun to make, and I hope this has given you some inspiration for our day 1 of the 13 days of Halloween. I will see you back here on Thursday and then the following Tuesday and each week till Halloween. So I would love for you to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of these fun projects. You can check the links below the video on YouTube for my blog, and have an awesome day.